Good evening, everyone. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome all of you to today's session on human rights awareness. This topic resonates deeply in our times as human rights form the foundation of a harmonious and stable society. By fostering compassion and mutual respect, we can build bridges across divides and pave the way for a more inclusive world. As we gather to explore this critical subject, I would like to extend a warm welcome to all the attendees for joining us today. Your presence is a testament to the importance we place on awareness and action in our lives. It is my distinct honor to introduce today's esteemed guest speaker, Dr. Sona Dixit, distinguished educator and human rights advocate with a remarkable career spanning 18 years teaching and human rights activism. Dr. Dixit is currently a faculty member in the Foundations of Education Department at Dayalbagh Educational Institution, a premium institute recognized for its commitment to values-based education. Dr. Sona Dixit has held numerous prestigious roles, including principal and head of the Faculty of Education at Symbiosis Girls College, Agra, and has been a visiting fellow at institutions such as Dr. B.R. Ambedkar University, Agra, and the Dayalbagh Education Institute, Agra itself. Her teaching and leadership have inspired generations of students to embrace the principles of ethics, equality, and social responsibility. In addition to her extensive teaching experience, Dr. Dixit has published over 20 research papers in reputed national and international journals. She has also co-authored insightful books, including Ambedkar and Human Rights and Mahan Shikshavi Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, which underscore her dedication to education and human rights. Additionally, she has developed the Sustainable Habit Scale, a standardized tool published by Bhargav Publishing House, Agra, for measuring sustainable habits, demonstrating her commitment to integrating sustainability with education. Dr. Dixit has invited as a session chair and resource person at numerous national and international conferences. Notable accolades include her role as a session chair at the International Conferences of Tourism, Pluralism, and Heritage, jointly organized by Howard University, USA, and Dr. B.R. Ambedkar University, Agra. Her areas of research includes educational sociology, innovative pedagogy, and human rights education, reflecting her commitment to creating inclusive educational frameworks. Through her work, she has illuminated pathways for fostering holistic development and equity in education. We are privileged to have Dr. Sona Dixit with us today to shed light on human rights awareness. Her vast experience, combined with her passion for human rights advocacy, makes her an ideal speaker for this occasion. Ma'am, it is indeed an honor to have you with us today. On behalf of everyone here, I extend a warm welcome to you and invite you to share your valuable insights on this critical topic.
Uh, Thank you very much for inviting me. And I hope my screen is visible to all. Please let me know if my screen is visible.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Yes, yes.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
So thank you very much to all of you, and I'm very much privileged. Okay, it is a privilege to join you today as part of the Winter Research Internship Program 2024. And today we are going to discuss a topic that touches every one of us: human rights. Our journey today is about understanding how human rights shape our world and how each of us can contribute to creating a world of compassion and respect. So, let us begin our journey of human rights awareness, creating a world of compassion and respect. So, uh, first of all, let us know what we understand by human rights. Uh, I think we all are humans. So, and you being very good researchers from the world over, already have an understanding of what rights are, what human rights are. Now, these rights are our basic rights and freedoms that belong to every person in the world from birth until death. That is, they are inalienable rights. They can't be taken away by anyone. Okay, they are based on shared values like dignity, fairness, equality, respect. and independence. Now, if we go to the history of the rights, we find that way back in 1948, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights was adopted. Now, this declaration highlights some basic human rights. It has in all 30 human rights, but I'll be taking up some because I know the rest of you are already known to you. But there are some basic rights which we as researchers must understand. Now, coming to this right is Article 3, where it says that everyone has the right to life, liberty, and security as a person. Nobody can take away your life, your liberty, and your security, which you owe as a person. Okay, you can't put anyone in a position where that person cannot breathe, or where you kill anybody for your own sake. There is another article which says, Article number 5, no one shall be subjected to torture or to cruel, inhumane, or degrading treatment or punishment. You are all researchers, and when you go through some kind of research, it is very important that you do not subject anyone to any kind of torture. Okay, any cruelty, and even if you see it, you have to raise your voice against it. So, the next article says that everyone has a right to rest and leisure. So, as a human being, it is a basic right. It is our right that we take some rest. Okay, we have some time for ourselves. I think most of us don't realize this right, and we do not allow others to rest, or even do not accord any time, any leisure time for our own selves. Okay, so this is our right and we must take it, okay, and make the most of it. Then there is another article which says that everyone is entitled to a social and international order in which the rights and freedoms set forth in the declaration. Now, the declaration says that there has to be a social and international order. Okay, means you can't go, there is, you have to follow these laws, these orders, in order to keep a balanced world. Okay, in order that everyone's rights and privileges are accorded and the freedoms are granted to all. And on the other hand, along with the rights, we have our obligations, we have our responsibilities which need to be followed. Now, when rights and responsibilities go hand in hand, okay, when they move in a balanced manner, then we have an international order. Okay, so there is another article that is everyone has a right to social security. Now, social security deals with your health, education, fooding, all these factors which are very, very important for a person as a human being, as a person who has uh, virtue of life, who is now living on this earth. Okay, so everyone has to have a social security. A child has a right to a family, a man has a right to a wife has a right to a husband, okay, on reaching a legal age. All this is under social security. Then everyone has the right to work. You can't deny anyone because of the caste or creed or race or discriminate against anyone. Okay? Because everyone has the right to work. Everyone can work, be it a man, be it a woman, be it of any color, creed, race, etc. Everyone has a right to freely participate in the cultural life of the community. Now, these rights, human rights, they affirm to the fact that everybody has a culture. Okay, every place has a culture, every community has its own culture. So everyone has a right to freely participate in its own cultural life, like whichever community you live in, you have the complete right to freely participate in that cultural life of the community, because this is what you makes you happy. Okay, the basic idea of human rights is to make a person feel very happy by itself. okay, by himself, by herself. Happiness is what matters, your mental peace is what matters. So these are the human rights, and some of them discussed here. Now, if we go to see, there are some key pillars of human rights. The first pillar is dignity. That is, every individual deserves respect. You can't deny anybody, respect. That is because you are not of my type, or because you are not of my color, my race, or whatever. So I cannot deny you respect. Then equality. Everyone is entitled to the same rights without discrimination. Now, there has to be no discrimination. There has to be equality. Okay, be it a man, be it a woman, or anyone. Freedom. The ability to live free from oppression and coercion. Now, oppression is something which makes you give away your freedom when you are tortured, when you are beaten up, or mentally oppressed in any way. So you lose your freedom. So this is not what human rights advocate. Human rights advocate that you are free from oppression and coercion. Nobody can force you to do anything. Justice. Justice is ensuring fairness and accountability in society. Now, when we talk about accountability in society, here we are talking about the responsibility. Okay, that is your responsibility towards the society. Every person has, its own duties towards the society. So you are accountable towards the society. And fairness is like, it could be fairness in distribution, fairness in treatment. All these things come under justice, where you ensure fairness and accountability in society. Now, there are several challenges to human rights. Now, I would like to ask you too, where how can discrimination take place? Like, what kind of social divisions are there which create discrimination? I have taken up some contemporary issues. So, yes, please. Any one of you who could talk about racial discrimination? What you understand by racial discrimination?
If I may,
Yes, please.
good evening, ma'am. So
Good
I
evening.
think racial discrimination really looks like, I mean, of course, there are many divisions in society on the basis of which discrimination takes place, race being one of them. And I think the most prominent examples of how racial discrimination happens would probably be, like, for example, in the US, like how racial discrimination is really institutionalized, because of which a lot of, a lot of social discourse has also taken place because of the same. And as far as other divisions are concerned, of course, we have gender, we have religion, and then, of course, socioeconomic status. I think these are some of the main ways through which discrimination in society exists. And they also represent the various problems in society that happen.
Exactly, it's very good and very well said. Discrimination basically is one of the reasons why we have human rights abuses. Now, because of the racial or gender or religion or socioeconomic status problems, the discrimination, that is, we give unequal access maybe to healthcare or education, housing. Like you see, even religion, that is Rohingya crisis in Myanmar. We have all seen it, how they face persecution, and there are restrictions on one part of the society, one whole community. Okay, it could be racial, where we have in US we can see the blacks and the whites. So these type of like gender wage gap is a very crucial thing that is happening nowadays. That is, women are paid lesser than men. Okay, in various countries, or in every country, we see this wage gap. And underrepresentation in leadership, that is, people preferring a male leader to a female. she may be well equipped, but this gender based discrimination still exists, and it denies the basic human rights. It shows the denial of basic human rights to the people. Like if you see this, Gaza is right now facing a massive human rights crisis and a humanitarian disaster. Like is you can see, this is a short report from Gaza, that is thousands of people are constantly on the move, and they are living in constant fear. They make tents with plastic bags and wood they can find. They're living on one meal a day, and that too if they are lucky. And the reporter said that he saw over 100 kids running towards one cart that was bringing in food. You can well imagine what kind of torture people are going through, like denial of their basic rights, denial of the right to school, right to food, right to shelter, okay, and even safety for women, the social security part, all this is missing. So this is a massive human rights crisis and a humanitarian disaster. Now, who brought about this? Why, how did this disaster take place, and why such crisis comes up? If you go through every kind of crisis, of every kind of disaster, if you do an analysis of that, you will find that it is just because we are not being responsible towards the other person's human rights. We have to, when we take our freedom, we have to also know that it is the other person's right to have freedom as well. So, this denial of human rights is the major cause of every kind of disaster that humans cause, be it war, be it conflict, be it any kind of discrimination. So, these are all human rights crises. Now, coming to the other second one, second um, issue, that contemporary issue that comes by, is the economic disparities, which exacerbate the lack of access to basic rights. Okay, now the World Inequality Report says that India has 85% billionaires from upper caste, okay, and none from the scheduled tribes. Now, World Inequality between report also says that between 2014, 15, and 22 and 23, the there has been a top end increase, which is particularly striking, income increase. Now, caste continues to influence access to education, healthcare, social networks, credit, all essential for entrepreneurship, wealth creation. And now Dalits till today are forbidden from owning lands in many regions and limiting their economic advancement. So this shows that inequality, because of this unequal distribution of wealth, also the people lack the basic rights. So this is not only evident in India but also in other countries as well. Then again, a very burning topic for today, like for the present time, is that we are having many threats in the digital age. Now, these threats in the digital age emerge by privacy breaches and misuse of technology. Okay, these challenge the freedom of expression and security. Like they say, there are the European Union Agency for Cyber Security has submitted its report on healthcare cyber attacks. Now, they have collected data, and they found that most of these attacks were done on the healthcare providers and hospitals as well. Then the US largest for profit hospital system reportedly suffered theft of health data, affecting as many as 11 million patients. Then again, in India, cyber attacks are rising daily. That is, cyber crimes, extortion, sexual exploitation, and etc. etc. So these type of threats in the digital age. Now, I would like to discuss with you again how these threats in the digital age are basically abusing human rights. Which right are we talking about?
Ma'am, right to privacy, first of all, because they are just breaching our privacy to abuse it for their own or for their own benefit.
Excellent, excellent, very good. They are actually breaching our right to privacy. Like whatever data we have, whatever data matrix is being uploaded on the net, they are trying to steal it and they misuse it. Okay, now misuse of this data of technology, this is something that is going to, it is a big challenge for our security, our future and security. Like in India, most of the we see that we have a larger population which is not educated, like not internet savvy at all. So these people are suffering a lot because of online frauds and etc., which are really alarming. Okay, rising at an alarming age. Now, the question again comes back to you. That is, why is awareness crucial? Why do you think we need to create an awareness?
Ma'am, can you please repeat? I lost connect.
Okay, I would like to ask, why do you think human rights awareness is crucial? Why do we need to have human rights awareness? Okay, right. Let us see now why it is crucial or what is the importance. Number one, because it empowers individuals. Don't you feel empowered when you are able to stand up for yourself and others, right? Then it
Yes,
strengthens
ma'am.
the communities. Yeah, with the communities, those who have, who know about their rights. It is a strong community. Okay, it promotes inclusion and reduces the societal divides. It builds global compassion. Okay, it's something that we are going to keep talking about now. You must have heard of Malala Yousafzai, who championed the education which despite the threats to her life. Women education, she spoke about her awareness and courage. That now, because she knew about rights, so she stood for the rights. This is basically why it is important to know about our rights. When we know about our rights, we get compassionate towards for people across our cultures, and we see how when we see them suffering, we feel the suffering. This is what happens when you are aware of the rights. Now talking about compassion, who is a compassionate person? Okay, this is something I have taken from the Bible. Uh, yes, can you explain? Whom do you think? You can see the slide, and you can see the words of the Bible, and you can talk about what you understand by compassion. Who is a compassionate person? Yes.
Uh, I so compassionate person is someone who is deeply aware of the suffering of others and feel strong desire to alleviate that suffering.
Very good, very nice, well said. Actually, yes, the compassionate person who who is the good Samaritan, right? Who speaks up, judges fairly, and who goes to help the needy. Whoever is in need, that person will go and help that person out. Okay, who sees that the other person needs help and goes and offers help. So, how can we create a world of compassion and respect? Okay. Uh, when we think about this, then we find that some places, like, why can't we teach human rights education, like in schools and workplaces? Their education and awareness can be promoted, by teaching them the rights and responsibilities from a younger age. Like, then we can have workshops in workplaces which can encourage respectful communication, diversity, and inclusion. Like in the Netherlands, human rights education is part of the national curriculum, which teaches students about equality, respect, and democratic values. And we have examples like Google and Microsoft, uh, which host diversity and inclusion workshops to foster respectful workplace environments. So, one way is teaching human rights education, okay, in the schools and workplaces. The other way could be to use storytelling and media to humanize issues. Now, when we hear of stories of people who have fought or suffered due to lack of their human rights, they make abstract concepts relatable. We relate to these abstract concepts, like torture. Torture is an abstract concept. Somebody could be going a mental torture, but how to understand that? You can understand that if you read the story of that person, if you see the film, the documentary, the social campaigns. Okay, that, like, there is a film which is 12 Years a Slave, this which brought global attention to the historical and ongoing impacts of racism. Like, we have campaigns like the Amnesty International's Right for Rights, where people share their personal stories, facing human rights violations. Like, those who suffer, they share their own stories. So what happens is this mobilizes global support. When people read, then people reply. Like, let us see this small trailer of this film, 12 Years a Slave, to get an idea of how stories can, make us relate to them, how we feel compassionate towards these abuses. I'll just share the trailer of this movie.
I want to ask you what part of the country you come from.
I originate from Canada. I guess where that is.
Hello, ma'am. Your
Give,
screen is not being shared.
just a second. No? Just give me some time. I share it.
It is not horrible, mom.
We're very lucky to have all these roles filled with the great actors, starting with you.
So you can see, you saw a small trailer of the film, and I hope you are now inspired to also see this film, aren't you? Uh, so these type of movements, these type of struggles, if they are born to the limelight by the storytelling and media, then it humanizes these issues, and then we get them into it, and we take interest, and we try to understand these kinds of abuses. So this is how storytelling and media works. Then coming on to advocacy and activism, we have seen Greta Thunberg's Fridays for Future. Now she's mobilized millions of people to advocate for climate justice. Then India's Domestic Violence Act. There were so many campaigns which led to this act which came by, which was formulated very early in the 1800s, and then it took a new turn later on. We are also aware of the Justice for George Floyd petition, which garnered over 19 million signatures. Now, this is how a big movement, a large movement takes place when we advocate and we do a lot of activism. Again, then leveraging technology. Technology can be very helpful, like social media campaigns. We all know of the Me Too Empower campaign, which empowered individuals to speak out against sexual harassment, and it led to policy changes and societal reflection worldwide. Then digital, forums came up to enable which enabled sharing the job experiences, education, support, and this was especially for the marginalized groups. And other another movement which you can see here is the Black Lives Matter show. Okay, these this also united the voices globally. Then building empathy. What is empathy? Empathy is practicing active listening, so that you listen and try to understand the others perspectives. Okay. Then what, like in South Africa, there is a reconciliation commission which allows the victims and perpetrators of crime, apartheid era violence to share their stories, so that people can understand, and this understanding also leads to healing. Then there are different types of tests also, which help in challenging your own biases and stereotypes. Then, why researchers need to be compassionate? Now, you all are researchers, so I'd like to understand, you to understand why we need to be compassionate as a researcher as well. Because as a researcher, you have to deal with people, you have to deal with community, and you need to empathize with the people. Okay, you have to be sensitive, so you need to be compassionate. Okay. Then ethical considerations. Now, as a researcher, you need to understand the participants' rights, the dignity, the well-being. So, you have to follow some ethical standards of research, like informed consent, confidentiality, sorry, and minimizing harm. Like you can't bring harm to your subjects of research. Okay, so you have to follow some ethical consideration, and for that you need to have respect towards the participants. Then building trust. When researchers approach their work with compassion, they build trust towards the participants and collaborators. This trust leads to more open communication. Once you win the trust of your subjects or the participants of the research, it leads to more open communication, better data quality, and the participants feel valued and understood. So it helps you in your research. Okay, then it improves the research impact. That is, your research now becomes more meaningful. Social, economic, and the environmental impacts are also included in your study, because you are being compassionate. You are, you when once you are compassionate, you will lead, or you will try to focus on studies that are more meaningful socially. Then your work will be driven by a desire to solve problems and contribute positively to the society. Researchers, you know, if they're compassionate, they also, follow teamwork. They try to do teamwork by fostering understanding, mutual respect amongst themselves, from diverse backgrounds and disciplines. Then it helps navigate conflicts and ensures that diverse perspectives are included and valued. Now, once you know that the other person's human right is also important, you have to respect the other person, the other researcher, then his diverse perspectives are also meaningful to you, and then you don't have conflicts. Okay, adaptability and resilience. Now, compassionate research are better equipped to handle challenges. They, they can overcome the distress or unexpected outcomes with sensitivity and adaptability. They are more likely to view setbacks as opportunities. Now, when you are compassionate, you feel that whatever setback has taken place, this is an opportunity to learn. We have to learn. Okay, it builds in adaptability, it builds in resilience. So, and also it drives researchers to address inequities and amplify the voices of the marginalized or vulnerable population. Now, when you are compassionate, you listen to everyone, you're a good listener, so you can address the inequities, and whatever the marginalized or vulnerable populations, those populations which don't have a voice will get voice through you. It ensures that the benefits of research are distributed equitably and inclusively. So, this is what compassionate research can do. Compassionate researchers are more reflective about their biases and the potential impacts of their work on the communities they study. This leads to a more rigorous and socially responsible research. So, whenever you are doing research, it is important that it be socially responsible. And this is how, when you encourage reflexivity, you it is your compassionate research that is encouraging this reflexivity. Now, how it can play a transformative role? Number one, it can promote cross cultural understanding, highlight global challenges, develop inclusive policies, amplify marginalized voices, demonstrate demonstrate the impact of compassion. Okay, now research in psychology, neuroscience, behavioral science, they demonstrate the benefits of compassion on mental health, relationships, and societal well-being. Now, some kinds of research done on the impacts of compassion can help in increasing global compassion. Okay, then they can also bridge gaps between nations. Now, when you do collaborative research projects, you bridge the gaps between different nations. You have shared goals and mutual respect among countries. Okay, it helps, it demonstrates the power of unity in addressing global challenges, fostering a sense of shared humanity. Educating the public. Now, research disseminated through media, educational institutions, and public campaigns promotes awareness of diverse perspectives. By sharing stories of resilience, innovation, and kindness, research inspires compassion and respect in individuals and communities. It also encourages ethical practices. Now, when research is done on ethical decision making and moral behavior, it provides frameworks for promoting integrity and respect in personal, professional, and societal contexts. So, such practices themselves model compassion and respect for human dignity. They also create platform for dialogues, okay, because they encourage dialogues, and studies on conflict resolution and peace building offer tools, okay, for resolving disputes with respect and empathy. Also, it advances sustainable development. We all know that SDG goals, they focus on eradicating poverty, reducing the inequalities, and formulating peaceful societies. So when research efforts are towards compassion, these promote global compassion and respect by addressing the root causes of inequality and injustice. So they uncover the truths, challenge biases, and provide solutions. Okay, so this research becomes a catalyst for a world built on compassion and respect, whose differences are embraced and collective progress is prioritized. Okay, so we've gone through different things. That is, the topics on how, why compassion is necessary for a researcher, and how research itself can play a transformative role in fostering compassion. Now, let us do a small quiz. Okay, on how, on your attributes, what type of a person you are. So just give me a minute to share the quiz, and we'll do it collectively. There are no right or wrong answers, so no need to worry. What is your answer? I care for everyone around me. I am? Yes?
Caring.
Okay. Okay, coming to the next question. Okay,
Inquirer.
okay. Any other answer? Others are not answering. Let us move to the next question. I share my ideas and work as a team. I am a yes. Yes. I share my ideas and work as a team. I
Thinker.
am a yes.
Communicator.
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 Okay.
Communicator.
Yes. Okay. Communicator is the right answer. Coming to the next question. I find a lot of ideas and information. I'm a
Knowledgeable.
yes, very good, knowledgeable child. Okay. Are you willing to listen and accept others' ideas? Then you are
Open-minded.
Empathetic.
okay. Any other?
Open-minded.
Okay. Open minded. Right. Any other idea? Okay. Let's take the last question. To find a solution, you have to be a
Thinker.
okay.
Researcher.
Yes. What is?
Researcher.
Thinker.
Yes.
Thinker.
Right. 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 You have to be a thinker. So the point is, uh, what did you gather? What were all the answers? Anybody who can share all the answers? Yes. Yes. We had some answers to the
Ma'am,
questions. Yes. Think, think,
ma'am,
think.
may I try?
Yes, please.
Ma'am, caring, good listener, knowledgeable,
Open-minded.
and there was open-minded. Yeah, and one more was there.
Thinker. Thinker.
Reflective.
Yes. Yes. So, what are these now? What are these which you have just spoken about?
Qualities of any human being.
Okay. What is?
Qualities of a
Caring.
Qualities
leader, I
which make us
guess.
compassionate.
Very good. Yes. What is?
Making a good leader. A good human being.
Okay. What is? Anything else that comes to your mind? Yes. So, these are the basic qualities that are necessary for a good researcher, है ना? And a compassionate researcher. Do you believe this now? So, being compassionate is very important. That is, it's necessary to be passionate about research, but at the same time, you have to have compassion. And once you have compassion, then your research is more human in nature, and it helps you all the more to be a very good human being as well. So you have to be caring, you have to be sharing, okay, you have to do teamwork, you have to understand the other's perspective, and in this way you would be persons who would protect human rights. At the same time, when you're doing research, you find issues which may be very striking, which your results may show that there are some marginalized voices who are not getting voice. Injustice is being done. Like, once I did a study on discrimination among students, and actually we found out that there was a lot of injustice being done by the teachers, the way they talk, the way they abuse the children. So we had to train the teachers to talk properly to everyone, to have an equal, sharing with all kinds of children. So this is how you have to raise your voice. The point of having this discussion is not only making you aware of human rights, but making you aware of human rights as a researcher, which you have to take you know take care of while doing research. So the key takeaways would be that human rights are universal and essential for building a just society. Awareness and advocacy are the first step towards action, and the main point is that compassion and respect can transform communities and drive change. So I would like to end with the quote of John F. Kennedy, which says that the rights of every man are diminished when the rights of one man are threatened. Because it is humanity that matters, it is human lives that matters. Thank you very much for very patient listening.
Thank you for very inspiring and thought-provoking
Thank you,
topic.
ma'am.
If there are any questions, I'm willing to answer.
Yes, they are.
Sure, please go on.
All right. Thank you for your presentation. It was very insightful and helpful, and I've learned a lot. And then I hope that the others too got a lot that they have also learned. So I have like three questions here. So the first question is, how can global global human rights framework holds national accountable? Sorry, how can global human rights frameworks hold nations accountable for racial injustice without infringing on their national sovereignty? Example is the issue of the Black Lives Matter. When it happened in the States, we had a lot of global human rights frameworks like the UN, the Amnesty. So in such how does this um, organizations hold that nation responsible without infringing their sovereignty? That's my first question. And the second question is also about the technology. So you did talk about we using technology to expose people information which at the end tend to infringe their right to privacy. So my question is, what are some practical ways that we can use technology or social media to combat racial discrimination online? So we've seen people using people have LinkedIn pages, social media accounts promoting um, human rights awareness. But then we still have a lot of people that are not on social media or people that are not aware of these organizations. Which so my question, how to help these organizations once again? And my last question is also about the compassionate. So we know about emotional intelligence. So what is the relationship between emotional intelligence and then compassion? right? Yeah. So I think those are my three questions.
Okay, I'd like to take them one by one. The first question that you asked probably was how could these platforms help out in disseminating the information around, that is while protecting the sovereignty of the country. So it is not something that is if something is happening in a country, if some kind of human rights abuse is taking place in a country, it is not now only a country affair. It is a universal affair now. It is not, if something wrong is happening with a human being, if anybody, if anywhere on the earth, in any corner of the earth, I think every other human being has the right to stand against it. And online platforms are very good platforms now, which are, they create a lot of impact on people. Like we have these signing campaigns and all. The George Floyd campaign was such a, it became such a large campaign that the government was forced to take action. So these type of campaigns are very, very helpful. Now, how people will come to know about these organizations, this is what is awareness about. So we have said that it should be included in our curriculum right from the childhood, from the school curriculum itself. A child should know the grievance redressal methods. Okay, should know what their rights are, what their responsibilities are, what their duties are. I think then we will have a better world ahead of us. Coming to your question on emotional intelligence and compassion, of course, emotional intelligence is related to compassion in a very positive manner, because who is an emotional intelligent person? A person who adjusts very well, okay, with the society, with other human beings, who is able to resolve situational problems, like problems coming up in different kinds of situations in life. So naturally, a person with compassion, who understands the other person very well, okay, who understands the needs of the other person, and who gives voice to the other person, who gives his ears, who is a very active listener. Because people who are emotionally intelligent are very active listeners. They listen to the other person. So a compassionate person's quality is also that he listens very actively to the other person. So the qualities match, and compassion is one virtue which an emotional intelligent person has. It makes you further more intelligent, more emotionally intelligent, more adjustive to society, and more welcoming, because they become more friendly also. So these are the qualities that are important, I feel. Yes. Anything else? I hope
Well,
I'm able
thank you
to.
very much.
Yes. Any other question? Anybody would like to put up? Very good question about emotional intelligence. Yes. Any other question?
Ma'am, I have a question. Like, why it is that the UN or the ICJ is failing to hold the leaders accountable for the violation of human rights? Like, we are seeing this now so much, whether it's the indigenous communities or the Sudan or anywhere. Like, the ICJ or UN is doing things, but the leaders are completely free to not follow that or the
Yes.
regulations.
Yeah, because see, the UN, the actually the laws are, they are not enforceable. They are not enforceable on different countries, uh, because every country follows its own laws, okay, its own rules. And those who have signed the UN treaty, who are with the UN, are, they are obliged to follow those laws, but the others aren't, those who haven't joined in the UN. Okay, so this is what is why conflicts are happening. If there is not a complete consensus among all of them, they don't agree to all the terms and conditions. That is why such violations are occurring. This is lack of consensus between everyone. It is not that the countries are not trying, but we feel so standing at the other end or outside the basic cause and effect of that country, because sometimes some actions by the superpowers may cause more hazardous consequences. So it is the thoughtful process that they have within themselves. It is not a very easy uh, it's not very easy or very simple to have everyone reconcile along different guidelines or on an agreement. These disagreements are there, this lack of consensus is there. That is why we have these abuses. Even if a man and a wife, a man inflicts torture on a woman, that is because there is lack of consensus, there is lack of agreement over little things. No, this is the same thing that happens. This is human nature, and that is why we have to develop compassion and respect. Only compassion and respect for each other would end up all this, and make it a peaceful world. Very thoughtful question, but why is because we have to put an end to this now. It is the future generation which has to work on this now.
Yes, ma'am, you are correct. Thank you so much.
Because I believe that these social ills, they can only be put out by magic. Okay, and and the only magic is education and awareness. Yes, any other question?
If there are no further questions, I would like to end with a thank you note.
Thank you
Are there
very
any
much.
questions? Okay, so ma'am, I'll just end the
Thank you so
session.
much.
Thank you
Thank you.
all for joining us today for the guest talk on human rights awareness. Thank you, Dia, for hosting this wonderful session. Thank you, Ilyas, for moderating it so wonderfully. A special thanks to you, ma'am, Dr. Sona Dixit, for sharing your expertise with us. At last, I would like to appreciate the time each and every attendee from around the world has taken to be with us and for their active participation. Thank you again, and we look forward to connecting with you, ma'am, again. Thank you so
Thank,
much.
thank you. It was very nice being with all of you, and I hope.
Thank you, ma'am.
Uh,
This is Dr. Neetu Singh.
Thank you, ma'am. The
Thank
pleasure
you
was all ours.
for the
Before
opportunity.
leaving, can we have a
Thank
group
you, ma'am.
photo together?
Actually, your lecture is really incredibly insightful, and I hope our participant like this very much. The whole lecture was really informative and engaging. Uh, I can't say that I was fully engaged in this session for whole the time.
No, no, I'm very much humbled. I couldn't put in a lot of effort in this because of some other engagements, but it was a promise, so I had to do it. Okay, so I'd really like to ask pardon if I've made some mistakes or I couldn't satisfy some of you. Uh,
No,
but
ma'am. Thank you, actually,
It
ma'am,
was
for your
really
effort and time
engaging,
you invested
actually.
for sharing us. And I hope that we will get opportunity to again collaborate you with you.
yes, I'm always willing to help out wherever I can. And thank you, Neetu ma'am,
Yes,
for
ma'am.
the great
Sure.
opportunity.
Yes. Thank you
Okay.
too, ma'am, for
Ma'am,
giving us your
please
precious
do not
time.
leave. We would like to take a group picture. If everyone would switch on the
Sure.
camera.
Yes, dear participants, please share your camera. Yeah, is it done? Yeah.
I think it's done now.
Yes, ma'am, I think so because
Uh,
there was a camera click.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you,
Thank
ma'am.
you,
Thank you
ma'am.
so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, all the participants and
Thank
attendees as
you,
well.
ma'am, once again.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.